Hello and thank you for clicking on the link. My name is David Miller. I'm the founder and principal of David Miller Management.
And my name is Dwayne Miller, and I'm also with David Miller Management. The purpose for this video today is to talk about channels. So it's going to be all about channels and whether you should utilize channels in your organization and how to design an effective, successful channel strategy and implement that strategy. So David, when we talk about channels, really what are we talking about when we talk about channels?
When we talk about channels, if implemented properly, are basically an extension of the sales force that already exists at any given company.
Okay, so I know there's a lot of different types of channel partners that, say, a software, hardware, technology company could have. Could you give me some examples of different types of channel partners?
I sure can, and that also moves into the reason why, what different reasons you might actually have channel partners and the types of channel partners you do have. One type of channel partner might be a channel partner that you recruit and develop that has a service or a product that you just don't have and can't deliver to an end user, that when married with your products and services encompasses a total solution. So it's something that extends your value to an end user.
Okay, so in that case, are those strictly called VARs, value-added resellers, or could they have other names?
They could definitely have other names. The one I described would probably be described best as a value-added reseller. Other types of VARs might be those that you might find and recruit and develop that might be there based on coverage and a coverage model. So you may be in a very large country. The best example I can think of is China, where it's nearly impossible to cover the entire country of China with your own existing sales force. It's just too large of a territory. So I, in many cases, would recommend recruiting channel partners, whether it's VARs or general resellers of other sorts, in areas in addition to your own sales force that provide reach that you can't get to territories and end user customers without having these channel partners.
David, so what role does a two-tier distributor play in the channel, in a channel strategy?
Has a significant role in the channel strategy. A lot of most two-tier distributors are distributors where an OEM or a manufacturer would sell to them, and they would be directly selling to another reseller that also provides some value along the chain. They typically would do it at lower gross margin than somebody that might be a horizontal reseller that's adding a lot of software, hardware, and services along with it. Maybe they are more time and utility based. There are other types of two-tier distributors that sell to not just resellers, but maybe to end users, where they act more like an agent of the manufacturer or the OEM.
Okay, I got it. So I've heard it said that a two-tier distributor who sells high technology products really does not create demand. They supply demand. Have you found that to be the case in your experience?
I have. They would disagree with that statement, of course, because they would like to think that they create their own demand along with any other OEM sales force. So, but I, in my experience, find that in most cases they fulfill demand that's already been created or identified within the company that they're selling to themselves. But yet they would still have a very high-tech sales force. They would still have pre-sales and post-sales technical support. Their sales teams in many cases are just as qualified as the OEM sales team, meaning the sales team of the manufacturers. So they provide significant value along with the OEM sales team and tech support team.
Right. So far what we've talked about are two-tier distributors who sell to resellers. Then we have a variety of resellers. It could be an OEM or a broker or an agent or a dealer or a VAR. Could be an ODM as well. But whenever a high-tech company is thinking about channels, they obviously want to make sure they pick the right channel partner to go to market with, but why should they even consider channels in the first place? What are some of the reasons that a high-tech company would pick a channel partner?
Well, the biggest reason to pick it is cash. It's all about money. You got to determine what your cost of sales is by having a direct sales force. You need a P&L for that direct sales force. Then you need to understand what your cost would be if you implemented a channel strategy, be it a VAR, an OEM, or an ODM strategy, or just a general reseller strategy. By each of these channels, it's very important to understand what your cost of sales is by going to market, as well as ultimately the bottom line P&L and profit as to what it would cost you for each of these channels. The reason to have the channel strategy and the reason to have the channel in the first place is because the net profit on going to market with that channel should be better than going direct. If it's not, then direct might be a better strategy for you.
Right. So you probably also have a difference between fixed cost and variable cost too in working with a channel partner. So if we were to get into the area of best practices of how to work with a channel, I would like to raise a question to you is what should the relationship be between the direct sales force of, say, a high-tech software hardware company and their channel partner, whether it be a VAR, OEM, or a dealer reseller? What should that relationship be? What would it really look like?
Well, in a best practices world, there should be no competition between the two sales forces. The compensation structures and the go-to-market strategies ought to be set up such that they are both incentivized to work with each other and to partner with each other to go win, to beat the competition. Now, the very best channel partner is one that has you exclusively and doesn't have your competition as well. So they've got a second choice besides just you. So if you're both exclusive in this case, or if you've got an exclusive channel partner and you've got a sales force that's motivated and is paid based on whether they paid the same based on whether it goes direct or whether it goes through a channel partner, so that they can bring each other into an end user opportunity and work that opportunity together just as if they worked for the same company.
Yeah, I've seen the channel partner programs in the past where a direct sales representative can get credit for a sale that's made by one of the channel partners. Then I've also seen a strategy where that's not the case, where the direct sales rep is only going to get credit for the product that they sell directly to a major Fortune 500 end user, for example. And maybe the channel partners are relegated to small and medium-sized businesses.
Right. And situations that you just described secondly there, I find much conflict between the direct end user sales force and the channel sales organization. The channel sales organization doesn't want to just sell to small and medium enterprise accounts, is my guess. They're going to also, like everybody else, be trying to climb higher in the food chain to the higher end enterprise accounts, and the higher they go, the more conflict there's going to be. In addition to that, I've also seen compensation plans where they've said, okay, the direct sales team is actually compensated on the sale that a VAR makes into their account, into an end user account, but the compensation is picked up based on what the sale price to the VAR is, not to the OEM.
That's a good point.
And if it's picked up to the VAR, it's going to be a lower price than it would be to the end user. The best ones are picked up based on the way you are sold to the sale price to the end user.
You know, obviously, I think there's two components to keep that channel experience with the direct sales force kind of straight and accurate and correct. One is to make sure you have well-established rules of engagement. And I think
Correct.
that's what you were
That's
talking
right.
about.
That's right.
Another thing to consider is senior management has to have the discipline to enforce those rules of engagement. Otherwise, you could end up with a significant channel conflict, which could impact the bottom line.
And they themselves have to be bought in on that strategy, heart, mind, and soul. Because if they're not, they won't support it properly.
Yeah. And you see a lot of channel conflict, which is a lot of wasted motion, a lot of wasted energy, for sure. There's also a feeling among executives that more is better. You want to be ubiquitous. You want to cover every market, every niche. And in doing that, a lot of organizations feel that they need to sign up a lot of dealers, a lot of resellers. VAR is a little different because they do have some significant value added that differentiates them from other resellers. But is it possible that too much competition is a bad thing?
For sure, for sure. You first, as you go into a territory, want to understand the total TAM in that territory, the total addressable market for you and your products in that marketplace. You want to then determine how much you can get to directly at the right cost structure, and then how much you need channels to pick up on your behalf at the right cost structure as well. If you add too many of those, you're going to cloud the waters with too much competition, with people fighting against each other, and it's going to waste cycles, them coming back to you with the problems of that competition that you shouldn't have. A little competition is okay, but too much is not okay, because all it will do in the end is tear your list price, not your list price, it'll tear your end user resale price down.
Right.
And take margin right out of your own pocket, and you won't even know it.
Right, and also it would have an equal effect on your resellers. Is if there's competition, sometimes there's price competition, drives the resale price that they put on a product down and reduces their margin, which reduces their enthusiasm to sell your product.
That's right.
So there's a balance there, I suppose.
There is definitely a balance there. They won't be as excited to come back and sell your product on the next deal if you're not giving them the margin they need.
I think there's another flaw that some managers in high-tech software hardware companies would make, and they say, okay, we're going to give whatever the percent discount is, 20, 30, 40%, depending on the industry, the product, to a reseller. So we expect them to resell our product for us. And they don't really provide proper resources to support them or include them in strategic relationships. Have you seen that?
Training or things of that nature. When a new product comes out, they may not train them on that product either.
Right. So not providing strategic resources to assist them in maybe pre-sales, post-sales, support, making them part of the strategic decision. You feel that is also important consideration?
Very important. That's part of the extension of making sure that they feel included as part of your sales team, and that they appear almost to the end user as part of your sales team. If you put them on the same page, the more often that you can do that, the more often that you're going to win at the end user against the real competition, which is outside the door, not inside the building.
That's a good point. Why should some of our viewers consider David Miller Management?
The main reason I would suggest is that we're really not a collection of academics that sit back and come into your company and just tell you how to do things. What we are is a proven track record set of executives that have come in, been on the ground, implemented channel strategies, and oh, by the way, that's what we can do for these companies, is go in, help do the work on the ground of deducing what the TAM or the total available or addressable market of a particular area might be, what the channel strategy for that area should be, help actually implement the recruitment of those channel partners, and we can also come in and assess the current channel partners and how well they are living up to the letter of the law of the contracts that our partners may have in place with these channels.
So I'm assuming that your recommendation is for them to click on a button on our website.
It is.
And contact us so that we can help you develop and implement a successful channel strategy.
And invite us in so that we can come in and give you a free, no obligation quote on what we can do for you around channels and implementing channel strategies.
Thank you for your time.